I would lie in bed and think, man, like, what good has my life got to offer anymore? It doesn't feel like it could get any worse than this. What would it be like if I just wasn't here anymore?
Kia ora, I'm Millie Kerr and welcome to Treading Water, a series where I speak to a range of people about their mental health journeys and how they found and continue to find hope when life gets tough. Today, I'm speaking to Wellington Saints player Rangimarie Mita.
I always compared myself to others. In high school, I used to think people didn't like me. If I wasn't getting time on the court, I would tell myself it's because my coach doesn't like me. I used to try to eavesdrop into conversations because I thought that people were talking negatively about me. That was just my anxious mind, like always worrying. I kind of put my whole identity into being an athlete, and people just knew me as an athlete, and I kind of just knew myself as an athlete, basketball player. Back in May 2019, I was kind of just in my own head with self-doubt, telling myself I wasn't good enough, that's why I wasn't playing, and then I ruptured my ACL on my left knee.
How did that kind of impact your mental health?
It felt like the end of the world. Basketball was my happy place. I still wanted to be known as an athlete. I kind of put my whole identity into it. Having that taken away from me, it was tough. I had to kind of find out who I was and go deeper. And for many months at the start, I didn't know that that's what I had to do. So I was a bit stubborn and didn't want to tell myself that I was not at my best. And I didn't really know I was struggling until the injury came up, and it kind of brought some things out of the closet. For a while, I kind of just swept things under the rug. I'd go weeks without talking to the people that I love. I guess it just felt like living in numbness. I'd have the whole week off sometimes, and I'd just lie in bed all day. Felt like I'd lost hope a little bit. Like, is there ever going to be any better days? I felt like a burden. What would it be like if I was just to, not be alive anymore? I remember one day clearly, it was October 2nd. I remember I just lay in my bed and I cried, and I just got my notes on my laptop and I just started writing just how I was feeling, how I'd been feeling over recent months, and it even dated back to high school when I used to struggle with anxiety as well. And I put that online that day. I didn't go too in depth, but I talked a bit about how I was struggling with depression and anxiety. People kind of were just in shock. They thought, I've always been vibrant, happy, peaceful, but it was kind of the time where I needed some help as well.
What impact have you noticed from being open, showing vulnerability and sharing your story?
It's my first time really embracing vulnerability. It felt like a superpower. As a kid, I often heard things like, if you cry, you're soft, or real men don't cry, or real men don't show their emotions. So it was kind of hard to navigate that. I get messages on Instagram and stuff like that, people telling me, thank you for sharing your story, you've helped me a lot. Back in 2019, I was speaking at an event, and it was my first ever time saying aloud or telling people that I had thought about taking my life before I told strangers in the crowd. I told some of my family, and they said, I want you to know that I've felt the same before too. I've thought about what it would be like to not be here anymore. And as sad as it is, it made me feel supported in a way, because I always thought I was the only one that felt that way. So by talking about it openly, it showed me that I wasn't alone. When I was struggling with depression and anxiety and I thought about suicide, I wasn't really trying to end my life, I was just trying to get rid of that time I was in. I just really wanted to just skip that part. I wanted to go straight to the good times, but as I've learned is that I had to go through the rough times to get to the great times, and I guess it's just important to persevere, and I think it's easier said than done.
What would you tell young boys out there, or men here in New Zealand, about showing emotion?
I will tell young boys and young men in New Zealand, vulnerability is actually your greatest strength, and I think you'll learn a lot about yourself through embracing vulnerability. I felt that I was fully my authentic self when I was embracing vulnerability and showing my emotions, and it's been important for me not to revolve my whole life around basketball.
When did you first go see a counsellor?
I first started getting counselling last year in April, so 2021, and I remember the first session, it was only an hour, and the lady had to tell me, maybe you can come back for another session, because I just had so much to say. I was crying the whole time. It felt really good though, to talk to someone without any prejudgments. She didn't know who I was, and she gave me some tools to help me with my anxiety, because that's probably the main thing I was dealing with at the time.
To perform well physically, you've got to be, in good shape and look after your body. Do you take that same care on your mental and your mind?
As a youngster, it was important to train hard and work on your body and lift weights and run and work out. But as I've gotten older, especially on this journey now, I understand that it's important to take care of your mind too. It's like your mind is like a muscle as well. You have to kind of do things to strengthen it as well. I think self-love has been a big part of my journey as well. I often beat myself up, telling myself that I'm, beautiful or strong and whole, because often when we don't hear those words, or we rely on them to hear them from others, and they don't come, you really have to go within. I like to do meditations, reading. I definitely love spending time in nature, anywhere down the beach. When I think about the times when I was in a rough place, I'd often go for bushwalks and spend time alone. I found this really nice bushwalk out in Lower Hutt, and at the end of it is a waterfall. I often swim when the waterfall. It was freezing, but I found it was really good for my mind, and it just made me feel really good. You can't fill from an empty cup, so it's important to fill your cup first. Often if I spent maybe a weekend of socialising, I feel a little bit drained sometimes, so just go to the beach, chill out, swim, read my book, listen to a podcast, go for a walk. Those are all tools that I use just to make me feel good again.
How important is having hope?
For me, it's extremely important to have hope. My mum, she wrote me a poem for my 21st birthday. I always just remember this one line, and it said, "The sun always shines after the rain." And it's something so simple, but I think that kind of describes what hope is as well. When it's raining, when it's stormy, you just have to hold on and have hope and know that better days are coming. Often the darkest times are our best lessons.
Do you think with everything you've overcome that in the future, with whatever happens, you'll be able to get through anything?
I know that if I ever feel like I'm stuck in the mud or treading water, I have the tools that will help me get through it, and it's been important to remind myself that I'm not perfect and we're just human at the end of the day.
Are you proud of who you are today?
I'm definitely proud of who I am right now. I've overcome some rough struggles over the years. I stand on my own 2 feet. Young Rangimarie would be proud of who I am today as well, so I'm definitely proud of who I am today.